Mario and his friends took the space byway and merged into the Woe Zone. Known to some as the Space Graveyard, it was said to consume all who entered it.
Just a little bit longer. We'll be arriving soon, said young Squirps.
With his unblinking eyes glimmering, Squirps continued to forge onward. Would Mario and his friends get their hands on the pure heart at long last? Chapter 4-4 The Mysterious Mr. L.
We're here, Squiggle. This is the Woe Zone. Squirps has finally arrived, Squidly. Squirps is here! Squirps can't wait. Squirps is going to scurry ahead. Follow Squirps when you can. But remember, Space Grounds, that this place is a super complicated maze. You'll get lost before you know it, so pay attention to where you're going, Squirp. Well, Squirps will see you guys later, at the spot where the Pure Heart waits.
Can't believe that creature left us at a time like this. But I must say, I do feel the presence of the pure heart. It's somewhere in the zone. Hello, lovely people. We're here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Paper Mario. Kind of a terrible time for Squirps to leave us behind, considering the fact that, you know, he said that nobody ever leaves this place ever. And he goes on ahead when he already knows where the pure heart is. We're kind of looking for that. I'm just saying. Alright, so there's a couple Tyloid, however you pronounce these enemy names. Read the dialogue if you want, because I don't feel like it. If the stupid... Fine, censor bar. Fine, I see how it is. You were working just fine the previous episodes, but no, you don't want to work anymore. I see how it is. So, I've been thinking about this a lot, about what I originally said about this world, and I gotta say, my negativity towards Chapter 4, I think it's more so related to just the first two levels, and not the entire thing as a whole, because I realized that it's really just the first two levels I don't really particularly care that much for. I actually really like the rest of it. Road 4-3 was pretty fun, and as we go across this area, we're going to see just how great this level is too. So, my goodness, censor bar, there we go. Don't know what's going on with that right now. This bizarre beast is called a pig rhythm. Everything about it is just odd. Maximum HP is question mark, attack is 2. It takes 3 stomps to finish off this piggy. But each stomp makes it smaller and faster. It's very hard to stomp on the last one. Pig rhythms often drop many coins, so you may want to hunt them if you're broke. Now, one of my favorite strategies to do with this is to have Bowser fight these things. Now, I don't know if this is an intentional reference or not, but I think this may be a reference to Super Mario Land 2 on the Game Boy, because in that game there's a boss fight that's based off the 3 little pigs. So that might be a reference to that. I don't know off the top of my head if it was intentional, though. That's just the way that I like to see it, because I like the game and nobody ever talks about it. Alright, I don't want to fight all these things, because they're kind of annoying to fight. Ooh, we have a shell shock thing that's hard for me to say because I have problems with pronouncing SHs. Yay! So, there's a locked door right there, and those eagle-eye viewers may have noticed there was a door back there that we didn't go into. So, to go into the next area, flip into 3D up here, and go inside this door. So to go across this area, but first of all I gotta say, I love that transition right there. Wait, there are 2 question blocks right here? Oh, cool. Happy flower and that thing. Okay, we're gonna take the happy flower because I don't like this whole thing. So if we go down here, we can see that there are indeed some more pig enemy things. Not entirely sure why this was introduced in a space level, but okay. Is there some kind of special meaning behind that? That's kind of just going over my head, like pigs in space or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure a bunny enemy would make more sense though, because I believe in Japanese mythology, bunnies were. It's kind of like believed that darker sides of the moon and things like that kind of resemble a bunny. Which is pretty adorable and things like that. You got a dimension key. A key to a door in the Woe Zone. Fascinating. I believe that's what the reference is to with the Brutals in Super Mario Odyssey. Because I believe they're based off that story that the dark side of the moon looks like a bunny or something like that. I wonder what it would be. I wonder what it would have been like for the person who first thought of that. Like, they're just staring at the moon one night, and they're like, huh, you know those craters up there? They kind of look like a bunny. This is something I'm pretty curious about. Like, what would have been like for the first person who thought of that? Anyway, we go over here, and now we can use the dimension key to go inside the door, and... Oh! We're on the ceiling now! Now we get to see the cool part of this level, and we're taking lots of damage. That's not good for our Colin. Or the rest of our body. Why am I using Mario for that? We can just use this. Actually, what does Fleep do on bad guys again? I don't remember. That was a bad time to use that. Okay, so when you're on the ceiling, you're going to want to press up on the D-pad to breathe fire with Bowser. The up and down button controls for doors and things like that are reversed, depending on which side the floor is. So this right here, normally it'd be up on the D-pad to go through a door, but because of the way we're facing on the floor and things like that, it's going to be right on the D-pad instead. And that's going to be pretty interesting indeed. I don't want to play Bowser in this area. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to... Let's try this. Oh, that's what it does. Okay. Probably not that worth it, to be honest, because it doesn't really seem like it's done something for that long, and it just seems like it's a bit more effort than it's worth. So, not going to be doing that too often. It might be useful in the Pit of 100 Trials, but I'm not going to use Fleep during that. I already know that I'm going to be using Carry and Barry a lot during that. When the time comes for us to eventually take care of that, which might be the near future. I'm so sorry, future Lady Gary, to you guys are going to have to go through all that. Pressing this black box thingy will flip gravity around. I'm trying to point at my screen. What is going on with my sensor bar today? Okay, now it's working. Sorry about that. This is a gravity switch. Hey, they leaked the Switch's Pro version years ahead of time. It's the gravity switch. This is a gravity switch. Hit it and to switch gravity from top to bottom. Okay, real talk, I gotta say, if they do come out with the Switch Pro or anything like that, it has to be called the P-Switch. If they don't call it that, that's gonna be like the biggest missed opportunity in the world. And I would be super disappointed if that doesn't happen. I don't even know if they are gonna make a Switch Pro or anything like that. Personally, I don't really feel the need to get something like that. Like, obviously, we don't know for sure if it is going to be a thing, and if it does get announced at E3, then this is going to be super outdated very quickly. But personally, I don't really feel the need to get a Switch Pro if it ever does become a thing. Like, I don't know, maybe if they release, like, the best Zelda game ever, or the best Xenoblade ever, and it only runs on the Pro Switch, or P-Switch, as I want it to be called. If that happens, maybe. But I'm pretty content with my Nintendo Switch, so I don't really know if that's something that I would do. Like, I imagine if they do come out with a Switch Pro, or a P-Switch, please call it a P-Switch Nintendo, that if they do have a thing like that, then it's probably going to be more along the lines of, like, I forgot to switch gravity. Probably going to be more along the lines of, like, the Nintendo, new Nintendo 3DS, where it was basically the same hardware, they just had a few minor changes here and there that made games run smoother, and they added the second thumbstick on there and additional shoulder buttons. I don't know what they could add to a Switch to make it like that. What I imagine they would probably do was, they'd probably have like a Switch dock that can upscale the graphics of the console. The actual handheld itself would still be a 1080p screen, maybe with a better quality screen. I think the screen for that they use on PlayStation Vita, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's is that an OLED screen? I think that's what it is. I'm rambling right now, and I apologize for that. I am so sorry. But, yeah, I think it's just going to be like a higher quality screen for the Switch, but it's still going to be 1080p. And the Switch dock itself will probably just be upscaled graphics rather than like true native 4K or anything like that. Who knows? Maybe the P-Switch will be the greatest thing in the world. It's probably not going to be called the P-Switch, though, and that's going to make me super sad. And with all that fun stuff out of the way, now we can open up the dimension key with the door. I said that backwards. We're probably going to want to heal up soon. I don't remember if there's a healing block around here somewhere. I did practice for this world weeks ago, so you'd think my memory would be a little bit better on this, but unfortunately that's not the case. Alright, Tippy, let's use your power. There's a hidden door here. I'll make it visible for you. I gotta ask, why was that not the gamepad integration for Paper Mario Color Splash? Because, like, I stand by my opinion that I think this is the best Paper Mario game ever. And I really wish that this was the direction they stayed with the rest of the series going forward. So I would have really loved to have had some kind of TP-like control over the world by using the gamepad touchscreen during Color Splash. Now, that being said, the gamepad integration was still pretty cool. It's just that it's unfortunate that Color Splash was like the last original Wii U game released for the console, because after that, they didn't really have anything until Breath of the Wild came out, and that was also released for Switch. So, yeah. It's kind of a weird note to end the Wii U off on, admittedly. Like, I like Color Splash enough, but it's kind of a weird game to end off your system library on. Has there ever been a game console that had, like, an amazing final game for their lineup and things like that? Because I know the Game Boy Color finished with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is actually one of my favorite. Well, I shouldn't say favorites. It's an RPG that I like. It was the first RPG that I ever played, so I have fond memories of that one, even if it's probably not like one of the best ones out there. But I'm trying to remember if there are any other notable things like that. I think Pikmin 2 was the last Nintendo published game on the Wii. At least in North America, because oh boy, we'll get into that tangent the day we eventually let's play Pikmin 2, but my goodness, why did it take so long for the Wii version of Pikmin 2 to release in North America? There's like literally no good reason why. But enough about all that stuff, now we can go over this way. Excuse me, very rude of you, that's not nice. That is just mean. Why would you do such a thing? And I always do that. I always do that where I jump on that block a second time and activate gravity one more time than I need to. And I always have to go back all the way around the long way. And I was hoping that wouldn't be the case for this Let's Play, but no. Of course. In the recording, I had to do it here too. So now let's go over this way, and without everything taken care of, let's use the final dimension key.
Slowpokes. Squackles. Scrubs was tired of waiting. Scrubs almost gave up. The pure heart that you're looking for is just ahead, Space Grunts. Scraps, you don't well. You're a smart kid. Squirtle Squeeze, stop it. Squirps is embarrassed, star emoji. Wait, whose voice was that? Squirrel? Oh. Who are you? Oh, me. I just want to calculate some more promising minions. The Green Thunder. Mr. L.
Mr. L.
I don't need you to tell me it's a cool name. I know it. Don't bother memorizing it. Why? Because I'm about to give you a burial at sea. I mean, a burial in space. Just because you're in red doesn't mean you're strong. Have at you!
Alright, it is boss time! We will be facing Mr. L. As soon as my stupid sensor bar works, what is going on with this thing today? That's Mr. L. This new higher complex is a real mystery man. Maximum HP is 40 and attack is 3. He uses his high jump as a weapon. That powered up super jump is quite super. He has other outstanding features of note. And why does he remind me so much of Mario? Well, nothing about him comes to mind, so one thing you can do is you can use a flip to spin him around. That could be a good strategy if, you know, it didn't take too much effort, then it was worth to actually do the thing. So, what I like doing instead is I like taking out Barry for this fight. We are only at 7 HP already? My goodness! Let's take out this thing. Peach may be another good weapon of choice as well, because she can use her Paracel if you're doing that thing. Now, whenever Mr. L will be trying to heal up with an item like that, then it's probably also a good idea to use Throw You to steal the power-up. Now, when he's doing a super jump, you want to be careful because you may have already noticed this a couple times already, but doing that will also make it so that if he jumps high when you're underneath him, you'll take damage, and it's not a very pleasant experience at all. Oof, impressive. I guess there's but one thing to do. Come to me, Metal Bow. Haha, do you like him? This is my dear metal brother. He and I share a spiritual bond, you know. Yes, and his name is Brobot. I love that name so much. Enough playing already. Now for pain. The gravitational laws of space allow Brobot's potential to be fully realized. Hey, Mr. Jumps all the time. Now we'll see who's the better jumper. And now this turns into not exactly an on-rail shooter, but I can't exactly think of another term for it. So we're not going to be facing Mr. L. So whenever we pick up those chocolates and things like that, we'll get some additional power-ups. The gold one will speed us up, the red one will power us up, and that's going to be pretty cool. You want to watch out for his attacks because the Brobot is very, very dangerous indeed. It has a lot of laser attacks, it has that vacuuming ability that we saw a moment ago, and it has nose lasers. Nose lasers are not exactly nice, so we have to be careful. If you flip into 3D, a cool detail is you can see that this entire thing is kind of running on, like, I want to say like a Tron background. That's the best example that I could think of to describe that era of graphics and things like that. I really like how this looks. Now, unfortunately, because you can't go up and down when you're in this area, you're pretty limited on where you can go, but you do get a cool shot of what the actual cockpit of the robot is like, and that's pretty cool. So, you may have figured this already, but if we go like this, if the stupid sensor bar will work, I gotta figure out what's going on with this thing. It was working just fine earlier today. That's the robot. This super robot is one of Mr. L's creations. Maximum HP is 25, attack is 4, defense is 3, defense against fire is 6. It is loaded with different weapons that allow it to attack from any angle. Just try to avoid its attacks and use squirps of beams when you get a chance. But I cannot read apparently. And try to grab a few chocolate bars that float by. Being able to attack using chocolate is awesome.
Hey, this makes no sense. No, you beat Brobot. I'll let you off the hook for the rest of today, I suppose. But remember this, when Fortune smiles next, she'll smile right here on Mr. L. That was awful, Squirp. We have to pull ourselves together, Space Grunts. The pure art is ahead. Come on, Squinkles.
I am very surprised that went so smoothly. I usually have a lot of trouble fighting against Mr. L, and especially against the robot, but I'm genuinely really surprised of how well that turned out. So, I didn't really get a chance to go into more detail about this, but where was it? I was going to use the shooting star against the robot as well, and the block block block. That's fun to say. The block was also pretty good for defense against Mr. L and the robot, so it's probably well worth mentioning as well. And also, lots of healing items. That's good too.
Mommy, mommy, mommy! Scripps brought them here. Oh, we're finally here. Come on, say hi to Scripps' mommy, Scripp. Yeah, this is Scripps' mommy, the Queen of Scorpia. Her name is Scorpina 14.
The Queen is your mother, so you are...
Squirps is the Prince of Scorpia, a once great kingdom. My true name is... Squirp Cogerline Scorpina. Sorry for not telling you. Scripps promised not to tell. It makes Squirps a target. Long ago, Squirps' mother was told the destruction would come to the world. And in order to protect us from the destruction, we need the Pure Heart. So Mommy hid the Pure Heart in the Woe Zone, where no one could get to it. And so, 1500 years ago, Squirps was put into sleep in a hibernation capsule, Squeep. Squirps was meant to bring the hero here to protect the world, Squirple.
Ah, so that's why.
The Prince of Scorpia, Squirps, has a message from the Queen to deliver. I bestow upon you the Pure Heart in the hope that you will save the world. Here, take it, Squirp. Phew! And that Squirps is all relaxed. Squirps feels kinda tired, said Squirps.
And with that, Squirps laid down before the statue of his beloved mother.
Mother, he said, his voice soft. I did my best, right? Are you proud of me?
Then, slowly, young Squirps closed his eyes. The mission had weighed heavy on his tiny back, and he was proud to fulfill it.